One question has divided people for centuries. Is the Earth truly spherical, or does it possess a structure entirely different from what we have been shown? Or could it actually be flat? At first glance, this may seem like a simple question, but behind it lie science, religion, history, and even secret theories. The answer appears to have been settled long ago. According to what we are taught in schools, the Earth is a sphere. Yet some people argue that this is merely a model we have accepted, and that the truth may be far more complex. What is particularly fascinating is that this debate did not emerge solely in the internet age. Similar ideas can be found in ancient texts, religious scriptures, and historical maps. So where do these conflicting perspectives come from? And why does this subject continue to generate so much discussion? What does science say? Modern astronomy and physics clearly state that the Earth is not a perfect sphere, but rather a shape known as a geoid, slightly flattened at the poles and bulging around the equator. This conclusion has been confirmed through satellite imagery, photographs taken from space, GPS systems, and thousands of scientific observations. For example, during a lunar eclipse, the Earth's shadow is always circular, something only a spherical object can consistently produce. Furthermore, airline routes, intercontinental distances, and even time zones all function according to this model. Nevertheless, some people ask, if everything is so clear, why are certain details seemingly withheld or not fully explained to the general public?
An intriguing aspect of this discussion lies in religious texts. For instance, the Quran contains verses describing the sky as being protected, like a canopy, and we made the sky a protected ceiling. Al-Anbiya 21:32. Some interpret this verse as referring to a physical covering. Similarly, the Torah and the Bible contain references to the firmament, a structure appearing to separate or divide regions of existence. In Genesis 1:6-8, the firmament is described as a divider between waters. For some, these passages are metaphorical and symbolic. For others, they are descriptions of physical reality. This raises an important question. Are these texts providing scientific explanations, or are they conveying information through symbolic language that people of their time could understand? Looking at history, many ancient civilizations envisioned the Earth as flat. Babylonian, Egyptian, and certain ancient maps portrayed the Earth as a flat surface covered by a heavenly dome. Yet, even during those times, some scholars, particularly ancient Greek philosophers, argued that the Earth was spherical. Eratosthenes, for example, calculated the Earth's circumference with remarkable accuracy in the 3rd century BCE simply by observing shadows cast by the sun. This suggests that the debate is far from new. It has merely evolved into different forms over time. Today, in the age of technology, people are revisiting these questions and asking, is everything we see truly reality, or merely a version of reality presented to us?
But there is an even more curious aspect to consider. If the Earth is indeed spherical, why do so many ancient texts describe a heavenly dome so explicitly? In the Torah, for instance, there is a passage stating, God made a firmament in the midst of the waters and separated the waters from the waters. Written thousands of years ago, this description presents the sky as though it were a structured boundary. Certain passages in the Bible also speak of the windows of heaven being opened. Similar verses appear in the Quran, such as, we made the sky a protected ceiling, and references suggesting that humans cannot surpass the boundaries of the heavens. Are these merely metaphors, or are they describing an actual physical structure? And why do similar descriptions appear across multiple religions? If these descriptions are simply the product of ancient imagination, then another question arises. Why are they so similar to one another? Why did people living in vastly different regions describe the sky as a covering, a dome, or a ceiling? Perhaps it is merely coincidence, or perhaps they recorded what they believed they observed. Alternatively, humanity may have misunderstood certain concepts throughout history. Yet another fascinating detail remains. NASA and other space agencies describe space as an infinite expanse, but we have never witnessed an image showing the ultimate boundary of that infinity. Everything we know comes from telescopic observations and collected data. But what if those images themselves pass through layers of interpretation and processing?
Some people argue that the primary evidence supporting the spherical Earth model comes from satellite imagery. Yet even here, skeptics raise questions. A significant portion of these images are composite images, assembled from multiple photographs. NASA itself has acknowledged that some widely published images of Earth are composites, created from numerous sources. This naturally leads to further questions. Why is there no continuous, completely unedited, filter-free video of the entire Earth? Why does so much appear assembled or processed? Perhaps there are entirely technical explanations, or perhaps there are other reasons yet to be considered. On the other hand, there is substantial evidence supporting the spherical Earth model. Air travel routes, satellite communications, GPS systems, and countless practical applications operate successfully within this framework. Yet some argue that alternative models could also explain certain observations. According to this view, people simply accept the model they are taught without thoroughly exploring alternatives. This leads us to another question. Have we personally investigated what we believe to be true, or have we merely accepted what we have been told?
Perhaps the most intriguing and unsettling idea is this. If some portion of what we believe about the Earth were incorrect, why would anyone conceal it? What possible motive could there be? Some suggest it would be a means of controlling thought and perception. Others believe it would simply be the result of a long chain of misunderstandings. Yet another theory proposes that the truth might be so radically different that accepting it would be psychologically difficult for humanity. Perhaps that is why reality is presented in a simplified form. And perhaps the most unsettling question of all is this. If the sky truly is a protected ceiling, then what lies beyond it? Why do some texts suggest that certain boundaries cannot be crossed? Is this a physical limit, or merely a symbolic expression of human limitations? And if humanity were someday to cross that boundary, what would await us? Infinite emptiness, or an entirely different reality?
Some alternative theories go even further. They suggest that if the Earth possesses a fundamentally different structure, this information could be deliberately concealed. Various motives are proposed: control, information management, or psychological influence. Some even believe that Antarctica holds the key to this mystery, and argue that the restrictions surrounding it are more than merely political. However, most of these claims remain unsupported by scientific evidence, and continue to exist largely as speculation. Still, an interesting question remains. Why are people so drawn to alternative explanations? Perhaps the answer is simple. Human nature has always been attracted to the unknown. In the end, one fact remains clear. The scientific consensus on this matter is overwhelmingly strong. The Earth is approximately spherical, and this conclusion is supported by thousands of independent observations and lines of evidence. Yet history, religion, and human curiosity have transformed this topic into something far greater than a simple question of geography. Perhaps that is the most fascinating aspect of all. Human beings do not merely seek answers, they also enjoy questioning them. And sometimes, questions can be more powerful than answers. So, what do you think? Is the world we see truly as it appears, or are we only seeing the portion that has been presented to us? If you enjoy exploring mysterious, thought-provoking, and controversial topics like this, don't forget to follow the BAL channel and like the video.